As they reached a door, Chuck requested a moment to open it. Laios suggested resting, but Marcial's growling stomach urged them to continue. However, lacking ingredients for a proper meal, they debated whether to proceed to the 4th floor. Despite the stronger monsters there, Chuck managed to open the door, revealing a dining room where paintings moved. Noticing only the undead occupied the room, Chuck wondered why they couldn't be attacked like tasty pigs. Approaching a painting, Laios was unexpectedly dragged in by a living painting, causing a commotion. Despite Marcial's magical attempts, Laios insisted on trying to eat the grapes in the painting, leading to skepticism from the others. Senshi devised a plan with ropes for Laios to explore further, resulting in an encounter with a royal scene. Laios returned empty-handed, frustrated by his inability to bring back food. Chuck discovered a painting of a party, prompting Laios to dive in. Mistaken for a drunk reveler, Laios encountered the king and his newborn son, Delgal. However, chaos ensued as Laios inadvertently caused the king's poisoning. Despite his efforts, Laios returned with no food, prompting disbelief from the others. In need of rest, they set up camp, but Chuck noticed a suspicious chest. Refraining from mentioning it, Chuck's hunger led him to fetch water. However, he unwittingly triggered a trap and became trapped in a cell. Faced with deciphering a sequence to escape, Chuck barely evaded traps and a mimic, eventually freeing himself. Upon Chuck's return, Marcial worried for his safety, but Chuck revealed he was unharmed. Senshi cooked the mimic, which Chuck reluctantly tasted. They discussed the mimic's nature and Chuck's reluctance to share his age, leading to tension within the group. As they argued, the day drew to a close, leaving unresolved tensions lingering among the adventurers. Kabru's party awakens, revived by 2 adventurers, only to find their treasure missing. The men speculate about treasure bugs, but one admits their belongings might have been stolen by another party. Rin detects hair used for ghost-repelling magic and gives it to the dog to sniff. As the dog reacts, Kabru realizes the bold move the other party made. They prepare to depart, but one man demands payment for reviving them, so they compensate him with a bag of coins. His companion questions why he didn't tell the truth, but he believes more bodies in the dungeon are beneficial. Meanwhile, Laios' party discusses washing up, with Marcial emphasizing the importance of clean hair for magic. Senshi's dirty beard leads to a discussion about cleanliness, but Marcial can't find her special soap, causing her distress. As they prepare to move forward, Marcial demonstrates a magical walking technique over water, which Senshi hesitates to try. They ultimately coerce Senshi into attempting the spell, but his beard causes him to sink, forcing them to rescue him. Senshi decides to use a mimic shell to summon a kelpie named Anne, whom he often encounters while fishing. Senshi attempts to ride her, but Laios is cautious. Anne attacks Senshi, forcing him to fight back. After the struggle, Senshi decides to cook Anne, much to Marcial's dismay. Laios spots Kabru's party in the water and pulls them out. They then gather grain and notice a fishman floating nearby. Chuck's reaction to the fishman prompts a discussion about the ethics of eating demi-humans. They prepare a meal, including mimic meat and seaweed, with Laios explaining the nature of the fishman's seaweed-like hair. They eat the meal, and later Marcial makes soap from Anne's fat for Senshi's beard. While traveling, they're attacked by flying fish, prompting Marcial to defend herself with magic. Senshi chastises her for disrupting the dungeon's ecosystem. Suddenly, a group of fishmen is attacked by a tentacled creature, and Senshi falls into the water, warning the others of an approaching threat. They confront a kraken, which they distract and attack. Senshi kills the kraken, and they decide to cook it. However, Laios is disappointed by the taste and finds a parasite in the meat. Senshi cooks the parasite, which they eat, despite Laios experiencing pain afterward. As Laios struggles with the pain, Senshi reflects on the dungeon's food chain, realizing their place within it. Marcial wakes up feeling anxious and checks on Laios, but his heartbeat is muffled by his armor. Chuck explains it, and they decide to let him rest a bit longer after his night of pain. Marcial ponders the importance of defeating monsters in the dungeons to maintain the ecosystem balance. Without intervention, monsters would overrun villages until the city offered rewards for their defeat. She finds the system well thought out, but Chuck doesn't understand. Marcial recalls her studies on dungeons, remembering her time as a renowned student known for her intellect. In a flashback, Marcial participates in a class on spiritual cultivation, tasked with creating a barrier jar filled with mana and spirits. She impresses with her jar, aiming to create a safe dungeon. Fallen, another student, catches her attention with her impure jar. They become become friends, and Fallen reveals her secret place within a real dungeon. They explore it, and Marcial realizes its potential for safe magical ingredient cultivation. Marcial thanks Fallen, and they become close friends. Chuck doubts Marcial's claim of being the first genius, but she defends her intellect. She explains how dungeons function similarly to the barrier jars, but with an abundance of mana. Senshi, who dislikes magic, should leave, but he rebuffs her concern. Laios reveals receiving worried letters from Fallen while she attended magic school. Marcial eagerly anticipates rescuing Fallen, irritating Laios. Chuck maps their route to the Red Dragon, planning 2 more camping stops. Marcial wants to bathe but regrets the group's split, missing her female friends. As they wake Laios, Marcial accidentally conjures a water ball. It attacks her, and the group rallies to fight. Marcial struggles without her staff, but Laios rescues her from falling into the water. They escape the creature, but Marcial is injured and loses mana. Laios realizes they need Marcial's magic to continue but lacks the water walking spell to return. Chuck suggests waiting for a healer, but they lack trade goods. Senshi proposes a barbecue, and they cook kelpie meat. Laios feeds Marcial the nutritious liver, and she starts feeling better. They enjoy the meal, but Chuck worries about Marcial's depleted mana. The adventurers above caught the scent of their barbecue, including their old party member Namari and her new crew. Chuck notices footsteps above, sparking thoughts of potential trouble. Namari's party suspected them of criminal activities, but Laios assured them they were just camping, no harm intended. Recognizing Laios' voice, Namari greeted them and introduced her new crew. Marcial, in her weakened state, confronted Namari about abandoning Fallen. Tensions rose and Marcial collapsed. Laios sought help for her, but Namari's crew demanded something in return. Tansu dismissed the idea of charity in dungeons, citing even corpses carrying revival fees. Laios offered kelpie meat, but they declined. Tansu attempted to summon Undyne, the water spirit, but it backfired, injuring Namari. However, Mr. Tansu quickly healed her. The discussion turned to resurrection magic, with Senshi expressing discomfort. Tansu explained the curse of the dungeon, where death was forbidden, and healing spells merely mend injuries for revival. They struck a deal to investigate together. Tansu led them to a site with elven characters on the wall. Namari teased Laios about his sword, and they discussed weapon care. Suddenly, Laios sensed a monster below, and tensions rose about how to handle it. Namari and Senshi managed to subdue the monster, but not without casualties. They regrouped and moved on. Tansu healed Kiki's injuries. Laios' face swelled from a tentacle sting, leading to a discussion about its treatment. Senshi joked about eating the tentacles, which led to an unexpected culinary experiment. They continued their exploration, encountering the water spirit Undyne. Marcial proposed an unconventional plan to regain her magic, which involved capturing and consuming the spirit's essence. Despite initial skepticism, they devised a plan using Senshi's pot as a shield. The plan succeeded, and Marcial drank the spirit's essence. Senshi praised her ingenuity, and they celebrated with a meal cooked by Marcial. Namari expressed surprise at the delicious food and contemplated her role in the party. As they parted ways, Namari expressed her desire to be accepted as part of the group, not just a hired hand. Chuck reflected on loyalty and trust, while Laios inquired about their old friend Shuro. In the end, they wished each other well as they continued their respective journeys. Upon reaching the tower after their aquatic journey, Laios and his group encounter a dilemma. The path ahead is obstructed by a tangled mess of tentacles. While Chuck questions their course, Laios remains confident that ascending the stairs will lead them to the 5th basement floor, near the orc settlement shown on their map. Amidst Chuck's suspicions of orc deception and Laios' determination to press on, they confront the tentacles head-on. Chuck's warning about lurking creatures in the walls proves prophetic when giant frogs ambush them, snatching their weapons with lightning speed. In a stroke of resourcefulness, Chuck utilizes a frog's skin to trigger a trap, providing a brief respite from their perilous situation. Laios seizes the opportunity to fashion makeshift dresses from the frog skins, while Senshi skillfully prepares a meal using the tentacles and frog meat. However, Marcial voices her concerns about facing the Red Dragon while adorned in frog skin attire, prompting apprehension about their impending encounter. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, Miss Tansu reports troubling developments within the dungeon to the island's lord, including the emergence of orcs and the plundering of treasures. The discussion turns to the origins of the dungeon, with Miss Tansu speculating about the involvement of dwarves and elves in its creation. Back at the tower, Namari's search for Fallen yields no results, while Laios and his companions survey the aftermath of the orc settlement's hasty evacuation. Signs of the Red Dragon's recent rampage serve as a stark reminder of the imminent danger they face. As they regroup to strategize against the Red Dragon, Laios, Marcial, Senshi, and Chuck contemplate their plan of attack. Chuck recalls the formidable properties of Senshi's pot and knife, while Marcial expresses doubts about their ability to defeat the dragon. Despite their uncertainties, Laios rallies his comrades, expressing gratitude for their unwavering support and camaraderie.